was. And the Vikings, for their part, it's the first time they've been shut out since November 11th of 2007 when the Packers shut them out 34-0. How about that?
That is really hard to do, man. And obviously you see here there's been some great defenses over the years and, just the one in 2015. So, yeah, I mean, that's hard to do.
This game was all about the defense. We can get into the offense, and there's some things there that weren't great and some things that were. But the defense is making a name for themselves, and they are quickly becoming, if not the best in the league, they're amongst the best. The defensive line, I don't know who's got a better D-line, and it's amazing we're even saying things like that without Jaron Reed as part of it right now.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. 5 forced turnovers in this game, 4 interceptions, 1 forced fumble. Ernest Jones adds to his team high. He's leading your team in picks this year.
I would imagine that there's a lot of corners and safeties that don't have 5 picks.
Yeah.
I mean, that is unbelievable, especially 2 in one game. But yeah, he's just all over the place. And so anyway, yeah, that was huge, man. You get a score like that, especially for a linebacker going 85 yards. And we were talking to him about after the game on the fifth quarter, talked to him about, I was like, that's kind of horrifying, right, when you're running with the ball, because if you get caught, your teammates will never let you hear the end of it. And that's exactly what he said. He said that, nobody said anything about that. It was just more about, I'm glad you didn't get caught.
Yeah.
So
the only one going to catch him was Reek at that point, but he talked about it. He breaks down what he saw on that pick six.
Yeah, I seen DeMarcus holding him, getting ready to bring him to the ground. And when you catch these interceptions, everything kind of slows down. So I'm thinking there's no way he's about to throw this. And he let it go. And then I catch it, and then I'm like, there's nobody in front of me. So I immediately started running. I look up at the video board, and I'm like, dang, somebody's catching me. It was Reek. Reek was just trying to beat me to the end zone. But that was my first ever defensive touchdown. It's been a while since I've seen the end zone, so it was great.
We rave about him all the time, but what a tremendous pickup.
Yeah.
And it's got to rank amongst the best that John's come up with.
Yeah.
In terms of a guy that didn't start the season on the team. You made a trade for this guy. We talked about Quandre Diggs maybe being the best based on what you gave up for him, which was a 5th-round pick. Mm-hmm. But for Ernest Jones, you gave up Jerome Baker and a 4th-round pick. And he's arguably one of your best defensive players and a cornerstone of what you do. He's a leader. He's always making the right decisions. He's only 26.
Yeah, he just turned 26.
And he doesn't act like it. He doesn't look like it. I don't mean that in a bad way. He just looks more grizzled. He looks like he's been there a while, but he's 26 years old, so he's just reaching his athletic prime. I mean, what a huge acquisition he is, and the impact he's had has just been brilliant.
Well, and it's very interesting to me that Mike Macdonald, like what he sees in a player, because they had Dodson and Baker, and he could see pretty much right away, and he was very decisive about that, just like, okay, these guys aren't it. But this guy, Ernest Jones, which, I don't know, you remember when he was with the Rams? I do vaguely, and I remember him being on the board and everything, but, like, did he make a bunch of plays where were we going, wow, that Ernest Jones guy, he's all over the field? Not really. And then he gets here, and for whatever reason, it just fits him. And him and Mike Macdonald are tight as far as their communication, and and I marvel at that not only does Mike, he is very determined, and it's very clear to him what kind of player they need, and then John Schneider is the same way, and they went and got him, and I'm sure Mike knew more about the effect that he would have on this defense than John, but I think John has done a good job going forward, kind of understanding like, oh, these are the kind of players that they want. Same thing with DeMarcus Lawrence, who we'll talk a lot about. But yeah, I mean, I think the communication there between those two guys, and you're right, giving up a 4th and Baker, I mean, it's, I mean, he's playing like you gave up a guy who you gave a 1st-rounder for.
Yeah, he's just been so impactful, and immediately the team just loves him. He's like Josh Naylor. He just fits.
Yeah.
He just fits. I'm not trying to say he's the best linebacker in the league, but he might be the best for them. He just fits what they do. He fits in that locker room. Same with Naylor. He's not the best first baseman in all of baseball, but he's perfect for the Seattle Mariners. They love him in the clubhouse. The fan base loves him. He fits what they do. That's Ernest Jones. Yep. That's to me the equivalent of him. And
he also got 12 tackles.
Yeah, he led the team in tackles
all over the field.
It's hard to. I feel bad singling out anybody on this team because everybody I was going through going, did anybody not have a good game on the defensive side of the ball? But yeah, I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence is a guy who's sack, pressure that forced the errant throw on the pick six. He forced the fumble. He was big. It's amazing how he's come on.
Yeah,
for this team.
Well, and then also the other thing about him, nobody's ever going to run like a jet sweep or any kind of counter back his way. He does such a good job at just being disciplined and staying home. And when he makes those tackles, I think there was one last week in Tennessee, it looks like he knows that play is coming. But, there's lots of times where they run the fake and, you got a guy coming back and he always checks. So he's a very disciplined player as well. But I just love the relentless, the pass rush that he put in on the EJ interception. Like he grabbed his arm and then he tried to grab his leg and then he kind of rolled into him and kind of kicked his feet up. I mean, he was going to do anything to get that guy on the ground. So, and then also just the discipline I talked about. I mean, he has really been a very interesting. I mean, at the time I remember going, well, he's, what is this, his 12th year, I think, for DeMarcus Lawrence, and
11th or 12th.
Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, I say he's a great player and everything, but I wonder how he fits here. And just, the culture and everything that he brings to this team is just, it's just fantastic.
Especially with Jaron Reed out, just having that other presence there, having that other guy that can wreak havoc, can go out there and just be impactful the way that he is just. He's been huge and just a great pickup. The defense just across the board has been great. It's just, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy each had a sack in this game. They're both tied for the team lead with 7 apiece. Yeah, obviously Reek Woolen with an interception, Drake Thomas, Kobe Bryant. Reek Woolen, not a great ball carrier, as Mike McDonald was saying after the game. But was there anybody on defense to you that didn't play? I mean, I know everybody didn't stand out individually, but did anybody make any mistake? I mean, that you pitch a shutout, you force 5 turnovers. It's hard to say, well, this guy could have played better. It was about as complete a defensive effort as they had. And I know that they're going up against an undrafted rookie, and he certainly helped you out a bit, but that was impressive.
Yeah. I don't. That's a good question, man. I don't remember anybody standing out on offense. Definitely can find a few guys that, on certain plays, but on defense, it was just a total effort. And then, I love seeing Drake Thomas have the game that he has. That guy now has 10 tackles for loss, and he's a second-level linebacker.
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of a, maybe win, place, and show. He was probably show. I thought, EJ probably would be the winner of the MVP on defense, and then followed by DeMarcus Lawrence, and then Drake was right there.
It was just tremendous day. This defense is legit and arguably amongst the top 5 in the entire league. I mean, they do everything well, and they're not even at full strength without Julian Love, without Jaron Reed. So just really impressive. The downside of the game, which, again, they won, bottom line business. Weird game for the offense. 10 possessions. They had 4 punts, 4 field goals. They finally push it across the goal line with that Charbonnet run. But it seemed like that O-line did not handle the blitz well. And Brian Flores told them during the week, I'm going to blitz. We're going to blitz. And they seemed ill-prepared, I'll say, because there was at least 4 plays where I was sitting up there in the press box and we were watching the replay on the screen and watching various O-linemen not even turn toward the guy free rushers, untouched. Mm-hmm. Absolutely untouched, not being chipped by a running back or a tight end, just coming. Anthony Bradford a couple times looking to his left on the inside. Here comes a guy on his outside, just open door. And I don't know what his assignment was. May not have been his fault. No idea. Just he was not unique, though. He was not the only one. They just did not seem to handle the blitz well.
That was a very aggressive style, and I think they're going to learn a lot from that. But as well as the Seahawks do that, because they do a similar thing where, I saw Byron Murphy drop back into pass coverage, but the way that they did it and just the urgency and how they sold it and everything was really good. Really good. So, there were definitely some teaching moments there, no question about it. And I think everybody got hit with at one point where they just didn't block anybody.
Yeah. It was I was a little surprised by that. Not that you got beat, that you're going to get beat, but they told you this is what we're going to do. This is who we are as a defense. Talking about the Vikings, and Brian Flores again during the week saying it. Oh, we're gonna blitz him. We're going to blitz. So they couldn't have surprised you with it. But they just didn't seem prepared. They didn't look like whoa, what's this? They were seeing something that they hadn't expected.
Well, and they would bring one guy on the right side of the line and four guys on the left. And, and so I think what happened was that, you had guys chasing. The guy over me is rushing and then he's looping over. And then all of a sudden you see him just entirely vacate that area. And then, it's wide open and the floodgates opened, and man, there was a lot of tipped passes.
I think there were 4.
Yeah, and I think there was, maybe there was a couple downfield, but I think they had a total of 6 pass deflections, and it seemed like they were at the line of scrimmage a lot of times. So, and then they'll learn a lot from that. So the O-line didn't really do a great job with that. I don't know if Sam did a great job with it or not. I mean, he got away with it, but there was lots of times where the floodgates were open, and it's Brian Flores is a really good defensive coordinator, and this is a pretty good defense. That Eric Wilson guy I was talking about last week, I think he had 12 tackles and tackles for loss, and he was just all over the place. 11 tackles, he had a sack for 13 yards. 4 tackles for loss. I mean, they were playing on our side of the line of scrimmage a lot of times.
Yeah, so, 4 sacks. The Seahawks had only allowed 11 total sacks going into this game. They gave up 4 in this one. So